Hello and welcome back to those of you who are coming back to the channel. Thanks very much for dropping by. So you'll have seen in the past I've done a likes and dislikes of the NCX1, likes and dislikes of the FGTA or Yamaha guitars, and I did a bit of a review of the NCX versus the NTX. This one's really about my likes and dislikes of this little beauty, which is the NCX1, which is a lovely looking guitar, beautiful, plays really well. But I thought I'd do the likes and dislikes because I've been playing it now for a couple of months, I guess, every night for an hour as a minimum. Weekends maybe 1 to 2 hours at the weekend each day. So I've had plenty of time to road test it. So I thought I'd go through, first of all, let's have a look at the likes. So, construction, let's have a look at. I'm not going to play this today, by the way, because I've played it on a number of things. This is just a straightforward review. So let's have a look at the construction first. So, everybody says when you look at the reviews that guitars that are made in China are rubbish. Well, I think these are made in China, then go to the Japanese factory for a quick quality test. And I have to say, when I got it in, there was no blemishes on it, no marks on it. It was perfectly playable as soon as I got it out of the box, which was really good. It's great construction, really. I've been over it with a fine tooth comb to see if there's any marks on it or any burrs on any of the edges. Everything's where it should be in real terms, which is kind of handy. So construction wise, I haven't got any complaints about it. It's a reasonable weight, which is a good weight for the guitar, so I quite like that. The headstock's quite unusual because it's a bit like the NTX1, it angles down, and it's got like this Batman shape at the top, which is quite funky, kind of like that. So let's have a look at the machine heads. So machine heads are really standard on most classical guitars. They've got a black ebony turning knob on them, which is fine. They're very smooth. I have to say, when I got it, it was out of tune, as you would expect, because it was shipped in, so I quickly tuned it to standard tuning. It was fine, took a couple of minutes. Then it stayed in tune while I played it. Put it down, came back the next day, slightly gone out of tune, but then tuned it again very quickly. Came back into tuning. I then tuned it down. What I did is I tuned it down to open D just to see if there was any buzz or from the frets and from the strings when I was playing it. Absolutely not, which was great, really good to see. And the beauty is, because the turning heads are so smooth, it only takes you well, not long, probably a minute to actually tune the guitar. It stays in tune then. So it's been in standard tuning now for probably a month or so. Sorry, it's been in open tuning for a month, so I've tuned it probably 2 or 3 times in that time period, and for a nylon string guitar it stayed in tune, which quite surprised me, which was really good. So that's obviously another good point of it. The other thing that I like about it is the fact that it's got the preamp on it, and part of the preamp is a tuner. So I'd read a couple of reports that the tuner wasn't much good on the Yamaha. So what I did is I got an external tuner, chromatic tuner, and I checked that because I was tuning down to open D, that the open D, the D on the low string was the same on the chromatic tuner as it was on the tuner here. Absolutely spot on. Might be a little bit of variance, but nothing really to write home about. And it was the same with all the strings. So the onboard tuner is a really good tuner on this. The other beauty of it, of course, is when you plug it in and you're going into your PA system, if you need to tune it, it cuts off the signal to the PA as soon as you turn the tuner button on. So anybody who's listening to you doesn't have to listen to you tuning up and tuning down and whatever you're doing. So that's a real positive. The other thing with the preamp, I think I mentioned it on the last one, you've got the low, mids and the highs, and an AMF, just in case you start getting any feedback. You can cut out some of the frequencies on that, and it's got a volume button, so it's really quite effective with the volume button. I've got it at probably about 11 o'clock on the volume. It doesn't need to be any higher than that, and I've got the lows at central at 12 o'clock, I've got the mids round about 2 o'clock, and I've got the highs round about 1 o'clock. Works really well when you plug it into, I've got a Boss Street Cube tune. I'll show you the settings on that. Well, I've actually done the settings on that in a previous video. So the preamp's really good on it. Really impressed with it. Very responsive. It does what it says it does, which is really good. Then I looked at the action on it. This is an NCX1 FM, the flame maple, and I guess it's a little bit of a flamenco type classical guitar, and the action on it's really good. It's quite low. There's not much difference in the distances from the top to the bottom. Could it be a little bit lower? Maybe, but for me, tuning down into open D, it stops you getting any string buzz. So I'm quite happy with the setup on the guitar, which is really quite useful. So the actual look and feel of it. So if I look at, I've got a Miguel Rodriguez classical guitar, which has got a cedar top and the bingo sides on it, and it's all gloss finish. The thing I really love about this is it's not got a gloss varnish on it. It's very much a matte finish, which will help the wood to breathe. It's got a solid spruce top, so the sound on it's really quite bright. The neck as well, I noticed on my other classical guitars, because they're a gloss finish on them, I sometimes lose where I am on the fretboard, but that's probably me and not the guitar in real terms. This is very much a matte finish. It feels more positive when I'm playing it. It feels as though it's a nice sturdy bit of equipment, and the way they've profiled the neck on it as well. I think I mentioned it in the previous piece I did about it compared to the NCX1. Is it's got a really nice profile on the neck, so it fits really well to get your hands around it, your fingers around it. The batteries go in the front there, which is really good, and it's also got the buttons for a strap if you want to put it on a strap. I very rarely do that because I tend to play sat down, which is the main thing. So, having a look at the actual the flame maple, what difference does it make in flame maple? I've never played a flame maple guitar before I bought this one, and with the spruce top and the flame maple, it gives the guitar quite a lot of resonance. So I noticed when I've been playing and I've not had it plugged in, you get quite a good bit of reverb on the guitar. When you're playing it, even if you're playing it in your living room or you're playing it in your dining room or in this makeshift studio that I've got, you can hear the reverb on it. So from that point of view, it's really good as well. And then when you plug it in, if you put the effects on with a bit of delay and a bit of reverb, it sounds absolutely superb. So those are the things that I like about it. I can't stop playing it, which is probably a really good testament to the guitar. My other classical guitars are probably feeling quite lonely at the moment because I very rarely pick them up, and I've tended to play this. I like the fact that it's cutaway, so you can get down to the lower frets when you're playing. So that's extended the fretboard for me, which has been really good. And the bottom end on it when you're playing it is quite mellow. I've noticed on some of the classical guitars I've got the low string is quite boomy because it's a full-bodied classical guitar, but because this has got the cutaway, it kind of cuts that boom down ever so slightly, which is really useful. So all in all, from a likes, I really do like this guitar. So what do I dislike about it? Tricky one, that, and not an awful lot to say from a dislike point of view. I guess the guys at Yamaha really know what they're doing when they build a guitar. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Yamaha, I've bought this myself. One thing that's really niggled me about it, it's just a minor thing, is when the strings were put on, I'm guessing that the strings must have been changed on this at some point, somewhere along the way from the standard strings that the manufacturer puts on. They've left a tail hanging down, at the bottom, which irritates the life out of me, and I'm going to clip it off, but I thought I'd leave it on for the time being so I could show you. So it arrived, all the other strings are tied off nicely, all in perfect line. It sounds a bit OCD this, but it's not OCD. And then I've just got this one string on the fourth string, which is hanging down, so a little bit annoying, but dead easy to resolve, so not an issue. Anything else that I dislike about it? If I'm being honest, no. Would I recommend it for anybody to purchase? Yes, without doubt, absolutely without doubt. It's a fantastic guitar for the price point, because it's the entry level one, the NCX, the NCX1, flame maple, great spruce top, flame maple sides and back. I think it's quite a good looking guitar, really like it. I like the double pick guards on it, I've mentioned those before, so if you're using it as a percussive part of the material, the songs that you're writing or the instrumentals that you're writing, it's really useful for that. Everything all in all is really well put together, and that's it really. So not many dislikes and a hell of a lot of likes. This is a great entry level guitar. Would definitely recommend it for anybody to purchase. Go down and try it out in your local guitar shop. It's entry level, so it's reasonably priced. That's it from me, so thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate you dropping by, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you found it useful. Take care, bye bye.